Here we are. Here we are.
Oh, don't do that.
I wanted to surprise you.
Don't do that. I was going to tell you not to do that.
Oh, the subject of today is kind of lurking around the corner, and we have bad news, unfortunately, today. But all of this as part of our weekly rundown of events, of geopolitical analysis, which is highly unusual, but always with a sense of humor. I'm Leo Zagami, this is my wife, Christy Zagami, and this is, of course, the Leo Zagami Show. We are broadcasting on a number of channels on YouTube, channels that have been set up after our main channel has been removed. We are also broadcasting on Facebook, but of course, I hope that most of you will subscribe to all the channels that are listed in the description of this video, so you can follow us in the because we always have the possibility that they will remove our main English-speaking channel. So welcome to the Leo Zagami Show, everybody!
It's here. It's here.
Who is here? Who is here?
It's here, and Bruce Usher is here, and Lisa. Thank you for your donation.
Okay, yes, the donations of this week, Christy. So who we have to thank for today's show? We have some anonymous that didn't want to be mentioned. We have Pina, Giuseppina Caero, and who else also?
Ronaldo Gonzalez.
That is not Rinaldo Gonzalez, Christy. The name is not is a different name. We have to go and check it out because. Yes, please pick up the name so we can accurately.
Right?
No, it's not. It's Leosvaldo, I think.
No. There's Ronaldo Gonzalez.
Okay. There is also Rinaldo Gonzalez. Okay. I'm also going here to check out all the various donations. Also, we might have received on Fundy, but in any case, I'm trying to go on my website, to go my Yahoo account, which I hope to accede, so we can check out also the names of the people who are donating also on Fundly. Hopefully, I will be able to go on it.
We should have this ready, but we've been so busy.
Oh yeah, well, we've been very, very busy, and now these assholes are asking me also some confirmation code that needs to be sent to a telephone. So here we are. I have to verify. On Fundly,
I didn't see anything.
No, there is. Just a second, guys. Okay, we seem to have some problems in finding out who the people who have donated are. But on GoFundMe, Christy, can I have a complete list, please?
Okay, it was Ronaldo Gonzalez, Lisa DeVode,
Yes.
Pina,
Yes.
and there's an anonymous.
Somebody is asking for the translation in Italian. Well, no, il programma in italiano seguirà più tardi, in lingua italiana. We have a specific show for the Italians known as Lesole News. Yes, news. We have slightly changed the format for the Italians, and we will explain you why this week, while we are running down the weekly events, we have also to discuss the anniversary of the 100 years of Mussolini's March on Rome, that brought a lot of criticism against the present Italian government, but also a reminder of what happened 100 years ago. And I know that people say fascism wasn't great. Of course, it wasn't, like communism wasn't great. But in that specific moment of time, it brought the Italian people to their own sovereignty and to their own independence. Now, after 100 years, they are a puppet state of the technocratic EU. And that is not really something that we wish on anybody. But we have some problems with the camera here. No, it's kind of like coming. Okay, the music. The Leo Zagami Show. What a title. Putin's nuclear world order. So, this nuclear world order today we have actually some news for all of you, and it's not good news because basically Russia is accusing formally the Royal Navy of Great Britain, the Royal Navy personnel, of blowing up the Nord Stream pipelines. That is like an act of war, which means we are moments away from Great Britain maybe being destroyed by nuclear weapons, or at least a start of confrontation between NATO forces. Great Britain is part of it. So once one state is attacked, the rule 5 says that we all have to respond. And of course, Great Britain is also one of the closest ally of the United States of America. What do you think about
Why do
this?
they do that? It's really sneaky and just, I mean, why did they do that?
Well, we don't know if they did it, if they didn't do it. Let me check here, because I'm still looking at my phone to see if I can also detect if we have any other contributors to our show. Don't seem to receive anything here, but of course, hopefully I will in the near future. Well, I have, of course, the voice of the Russian defense that is basically doing this formal accusation. There is actually, I think, the head of their military also that is involved in this. It's a formal accusation, and we need to see it, because I didn't see it here on the Western media. It should be the first news this morning all over the place. Instead, it's not. But the Leo Zagami Show tries to bring you the latest news. So welcome everybody, and let's check out what's happening with Russia.
Сегодня в 4:20 утра киевским режимом проведена террористическая атака на корабли Черноморского флота и гражданские суда, находившиеся на внешнем и внутреннем рейдах пункта базирования Севастополь. В атаке были задействованы 9 беспилотных летательных аппаратов и 7 автономных морских беспилотных аппаратов. В результате принятых оперативных мер силами кораблей Черноморского флота все воздушные цели были уничтожены. В ходе отражения террористической атаки на внешнем рейде Севастополя применением корабельного оружия и морской авиации Черноморского флота уничтожено 4 морских беспилотных аппаратов. Еще 3 аппарата уничтожены на внутреннем рейде. Незначительное повреждение получили морской тральщик Иван Голубец, а также бонно-сетевое заграждение в бухте Южная. Следует подчеркнуть, что подвергшиеся террористической атаке корабли Черноморского флота задействованы в обеспечении безопасности зернового коридора в рамках международной инициативы по вывозу сельскохозяйственной продукции из украинских портов. Подготовка данного террористического акта и обучение военнослужащих украинского 73-го специального центра морских операций осуществлялись под руководством находившихся в городе Очаков Николаевской области Украины британских специалистов. По имеющейся информации, представители данного подразделения ВМС Великобритании принимали участие в планировании, обеспечении и реализации террористического акта в Балтийском море 26 сентября сего года по подрыву газопроводов «Северный поток-1» и «Северный поток-2».
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't look so good. The prospect doesn't look so good.
Okay, wait, I got it.
Now, okay, Christy has got something. Just a second, guys. Just a second. Yes, we are back, guys. This is trying to find everything to thank those people who have, of course, contributed to the show. So we said Giuseppina Pinacaero is one of the sponsors of today's show. Then we have Reynaldo Gonzalez. is another of the sponsors. Yes, that we know because it was done through Cash App, so that you can check out. There is another gentleman who doesn't want to be mentioned because there is also those people who like to do it in an anonymous format. And I mean, you can do it in whatever format. We appreciate, of course, your donations in whatever format possible. You can donate to us and make possible our weekly transmission through Cash App, which is available, unfortunately, only in Great Britain and here in the United States. Then we have Fundly, and then we have GoFundMe. Now, we have been removed from PayPal six times, and that's really the reason why we are not on PayPal. But you can use PayPal with GoFundMe. Mm-hmm. You can actually use PayPal with GoFundMe. So it's a way to bypass, I guess, the censorship. Christy, we would really like to thank these people because they make our weekly show possible, and we might even be able in the very near future to bring you one more show now that we are completing our mission with volume 8. How is that going on?
It's going very well.
I want to find to find the time to thank also another person who has helped us since the very early days of setting up our donation, Raymond Cam, who is also somebody I would like to thank today amongst our sponsors. I repeat, not everybody likes to be mentioned, but we like to thank them. Okay, you see, can you put air conditioning here? Because I noticed that the temperatures are kind of escalating in the studio. You know, we have a lot of lights and so on. Guys, the message is pretty loud and clear here, Christy. I mean, apart from the attempt terrorist attack, they said because of course they call the Ukrainians terrorists when they attack one of their fleets. But in this brief speech by which is the official spokesman during the whole course of the war, he has been the official spokesman of the Russian forces. It says here that according to available information, representatives of this unit, the British Navy, took part in the planning, provision, and implementation of a terrorist attack in the Baltic Sea on September 26 this year. Now, blowing up the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. So, I mean, this is basically accusing Great Britain of an act of war against Russia. I really don't understand why, of course, everybody's focused on something else that happened yesterday. We all know around 2 o'clock in the morning, a naked gentleman, naked with a hammer, was in the house of the husband of the Speaker of the House, Paul Pelosi, who is a member, by the way, of the Bohemian Club, a member of the Stewards, which is another secret society based in Georgetown University, and this 82-year-old who we have also known recently because of his drunkenness, which was condoned pretty quickly by, of course, the corrupt government of the state of California, because that's what it is. They are basically the people who at the moment have in their hands the state of California. But this suspect was a known nudist. And guys, already that sounds weird.
Up there is reporting, Martha, that the suspect was arrested in his underwear, and the authorities have found a manifesto, as they put it, on social media involving conspiracy theories, including...
Now, they're trying to pull together this whole thing as this guy's some kind of MAGA Republican. Now, I didn't really... I don't think I ever met a nudist MAGA Republican.
No, I'm sure maybe they're out there.
If you are a nudist MAGA Republican, please let us know, because this whole thing sounds very, very weird.
Anti-government COVID police. As for
Yeah, but I don't understand it. And then there was, you see, this nudist element was actually silenced by the police of San Francisco during their own conference. And it was caught, during their own press conference, it was caught on a hot mic. Check this out. Actually, no, this is another hot mic of this week, which we should show in a little while, which regards instead what was said to Biden regarding the possible loss of a state, being probably Georgia. But I wanted to instead go to the Paul Pelosi affair, because, of course, this is an important moment for all of us, because the Democrats will, of course, instrumentally use this information to their advantage in the political discourse. They will try to blame Trump in the end, the MAGA Republicans, for this. But this is what happened instead at the police press conference.
Okay, so is this the dude that was a former, nudist dude? Okay. Yeah, okay. Is it okay to say any of that stuff? No? Yeah, all right, cool. All right, so, but we kind of have a working knowledge of who this...
So here, basically, we are talking about journalists who should be doing their job, first of all, which is reporting. And I don't care what the police says, because if a journalist is doing his job during a press conference with the police, they need to do their job, just like the police needs to do their job. Now, why are they not discussing the nudist fascination of this gentleman, who was an activist, a nudist activist, something that doesn't really fit in the scheme of things when it comes to a traditional MAGA republic?
So is this the dude that was a former, nudist dude? Okay. Yeah, okay. Is it okay to say any of that stuff? No? Yeah, all right, cool. All right, so, but we kind of have a working knowledge of who this guy may be. Hang on one second. Let me go see what they've got over here. I'll call you back.
So they couldn't talk about it. So they couldn't ask questions, because their handlers in this mainstream media theater didn't want their own journalists to ask questions to the police regarding, to not embarrass somebody. Now, this is the second time that Paul Pelosi is embarrassing us. The first time happened not so long ago, when he got drunk and with his Porsche, he crashed into somebody else's car. And, of course, because he's the husband of Nancy Pelosi, he got away with basically a very mild kind of, shouldn't do it again, whatever. But Paul Pelosi was too drunk to even work. In a normal situation, Christy, what happens here in America? You get arrested, no? You get at least your license taken away, and you might risk...
You have to do... It depends on how many times you've done it. But I don't know. I'm not an expert on this.
But you heard of people who have been stopped,
I think that what happens
drinking
is...
on...
Oh, yeah, I know people. I do.
And what happened to them?
They're in jail, so...
Oh, okay. Well, and they usually have to also, if they are allowed to drive, they have to put some kind of machine. They need to breathalyze it in the car.
You have to blow into a machine.
And all that. So let's see what happened to Paul Pelosi that night.
So you can try both feet out if you want. I'll let you start. You can try the test with both feet. I'll give you like a pre-trial run, for lack of a better term. You could try it with both feet, see which one you feel more comfortable with, and then once you're ready, just let me know. Are you sure you could complete the test? Okay. Because I really don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. That's the last thing I want. Right, but that defeats the whole purpose of the test, grabbing on to a control car.
Now, we all know what will happen to the normal person. The person is not protected by the elite. Now, what happens to the population? Just as a reminder, this is not something this is what we ended up with 5 days ago, which of course we never do. The housing hospital is here to driving infant charges with make traffic reform country. And basically the husband of this student was a student guilty. You really get away with it. They don't even talk about taking charges. They're talking about $7,000 fine for the guy for is basically nothing. But he was arrested for making close action to country management not criminal. Anyway, it's grand. After the DUI test showed they had good, after something for 0.82% for just over the legal convention. It looks good to me. Now, somebody said, how do you restore? Let's see if we can fix it. Now, I think that you might be able to hear us because we are coming to you loud and clear. At times, unfortunately, the software of StreamYard, not our own software, not our own computer, creates this kind of problem. Somebody says, what happened to Paul Bella Pelosi instead of Bella Lugosi? Which, by the way, it was his anniversary, recently, and somebody who follows a show, yes, a friend, Bella Lugosi had their own anniversary, birthday, I think, I don't know, 100 years, I don't know, something, probably more than that. And they sent us this creepy kind of like a video. We want to thank, of course, what's her name?
Shavaz Lavad. I can say it's in
Sharjela
I think it's Karen White.
Okay. We want to thank her because it's definitely a very nice, creepy video for the kind of man Christy likes.
I don't like vampires. He's Italian. Well, I like them. Well,
he was
part in the suit that I don't like the blood sucking.
Yeah, it wasn't really actually himself.
I hate blood actually, and I hate veins and blood and veins.
He wasn't even Italian, the guy, but he kind of presented himself like kind of. We were in the year just after all the Rodolfo Valentino frenzy, yes, and we were of course into these spooky black and white movies, that were then transmitted. Cool. They were cool. Of course. We have a change of mind regarding this year celebration of Halloween, which we decided not to celebrate.
I just thought it was dark enough without adding any more darkness. Yes. Last year, did like a little dance, and we were trying to, kind of counteract that Halloween darkness thing by doing a dance.
Yeah.
And I don't judge anybody for what they do. You can do what you want. And the kids, I remember as a kid going trick-or-treating, and that's a good memory.
Well,
and
but
like yesterday, I watched The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. You can get it on YouTube because they took it off of PBS, but you can get it on YouTube. I looked a week ago and I couldn't find it. And they said you only can get it on Apple TV, but now it's on YouTube because a bunch of people downloaded it. And I know a lot of people like that because they watch it every year and their kids watch it every year. So you can watch A Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And we're not celebrating this year because we don't want to add more darkness to the dark that's already there. So.
Regarding trick or treat, it's really sad that this year you can't even send your kids out because apparently they're mixing up fentanyl in candy, and so please beware of this. They are mixing fentanyl with candy, so if you are sending your children out, verify what they're bringing back, and be very careful. Be very careful because we are living in an unscrupulous world where people really. They even damage kids. They don't have any ethics or morals regarding this whole thing. And in the White House, they have transformed Halloween in the best time to get the vaccine. This was the theater show of this week with Dr. Fauci.
Oh, no.
Yeah, back.
Hello, folks. You can roll your sleeves up. I'll come up if you want.
The clown show keeps on getting worse and worse. For Halloween, of course, the clown show had to present itself together. It looks like, I don't know, the Addams Family, I don't know. But this is what Joe Biden and his Fauci and friends had to say for this Halloween.
I'm here today with my COVID team, as well as leaders from some of America's top pharmacies, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aids, Albertsons. And we're here with a simple message. Get vaccinated. Update your COVID vaccine. It's incredibly effective, but the truth is not enough people are getting it. We've got to change that so we can all have a safe and healthy holiday season. That's why I'm getting my shot updated today. And I think we're a little intimidated the nurse is going to give it when we told her it's on television. But anyway, and if you get it, you're protected. So get updated, get your updated COVID shot. Now's the time to do it. By Halloween, if you can, that's the best time. My administration is doing our part. We've made these updated vaccines easy to get. We have the vaccines. Now let's keep doing it. Let's keep going. And now I'll show you just how easy it is to get that shot. You're not getting it. Oh, I'm not getting it. What am I doing? My left arm?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's a necessity to deal with making sure it doesn't become one.
What's your reaction to the Saudis on oil urging the U.S. not to use reserves?
Sir, do you think it was a mistake for New York to withdraw its mandate for vaccines?
Say again?
Do you think it's a mistake for New York to withdraw its vaccine mandate for private employers?
No, I don't think. That's a local judgment.
Mr. President, is a dirty bomb a nuclear strike?
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Please do.
What a clown show. But it got even worse with the White House publishing a video looking like some kind of Bela Lugosi kind of movie trailer from back in the days. And I mean, this is what they're doing to creep people out. It's like the White House is producing their own Ferti-style horror movies now to publicize taking the vaccine. Spooking people out, I mean, should be limited to maybe children or people who want to have fun on their social networks of choice. But the White House indulging in this kind of theater seems a bit of bad taste. Let's go back to the whole Paul Pelosi thing, because we haven't finished yet with Paul Pelosi. There is some information that has just came in, which is pretty weird. We repeat, this assailant, Dave the Pape, is described in this police call as a friend. It's not described as an invader. How you say? Intruder, no? And this is really weird, guys.
Yeah.
Check out this police dispatch call, which really it's making us wonder what really went on with this nudist naked with a hammer. I mean, the hammer, by the way, was initially in the hands, apparently when the police arrived, was in the hands of Paul Pelosi, then was taken by this other gentleman who started to then hammer him, and then hammer later on the police guy. But let's listen to this police dispatch call. There's a lot of things that don't really add up in this really weird attack.
Northern 4-car, 8 priority 910, 2640 Broadway, cross of Scott and Normandy. 14-hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused. Is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused. 12 over back and copy.
So the police didn't say this during their press conference, didn't report this dispatch call, didn't report the fact that he was described as a friend, didn't want as we have seen just now, the journalist to know that it was a connection with some kind of nudist group, because this guy has a lot of skeletons in the closet, but they don't really add up to your typical MAGA individual. First of all, there is almost no Republicans in Berkeley, which is a predominantly libtard part of what is California, right next to San Francisco. We can call it part of greater San Francisco in a way, but it is also the home of the most libtard university in the country, the University of Berkeley. So from my own experience, I don't see this really, I mean, it seems really weird. What do you think, Christy?
I think it seems weird too. And maybe his friend came over and they were having fun. And then
he transformed
it turned around, like maybe somebody got mad because whatever, and then they were all of a sudden somebody hit somebody with a hammer. I don't know.
Okay.
I think they would knew each other.
Yeah, well, it doesn't. I mean, first of all, Paul Pelosi is an active member of the Bohemian Club. The Bohemian Club is well known to bring not only hookers during their events, but also to have been a place where a lot of politicians indulge in homosexual activities.
Yeah, right.
This was something I also report in volume 1 of my confessions. And so suddenly, butt buddies.
Well, with a wife like her, it's a definite improvement. Anything.
Well, no, but
I don't know. It would be like, I don't know what it would be like, but it wouldn't be, I don't know. Anyway.
I know, guys, that definitely there's something very wrong here, something sordid, something that doesn't add up, because suddenly we have somebody who from a friend becomes an intruder, a brutal attack is carried on. So who is this De Pape, who made several religious-based posts in 2007? Then it sat dormant for 15 years.
Oh, that's just amazing.
After which he began posting in late August of this year. The new material features YouTube videos, memes, and odd headlines of no commentary attached. But weird stuff, guys. Let me show you some of it. So we're talking about a guy who suddenly becomes active after many years, and is now described by Politico and all those libtard mainstream publications as actually passing in this guy off as MAGA, as this lady saying here.
No way. This is just too much. Come on, give me a break already.
So the Populist attack is David De Pape, a Castro supporting nudist. So now, if you support Fidel Castro, you are a communist.
You're not a MAGA.
And definitely, if you are hanging out like this guy with this kind of people, because this is the guy behind this kid.
Oh, come on, we know. Anyway.
These kind of libtards live only in California. I mean, we live here. We know this kind of libtards. We see them every day. See here, family friend David De Pape sits on the floor under blankets with Daniel 8. And why is he sitting with all these children? Why is this hint of pedophilia in this whole equation? That is also, no? Suspect on the same day last week urged Trump to make Tulsi Gabbard his vice president nominee, posted a photo of a gas chamber. It's almost like he's provoking something, creating fake. People are rushing to disguise suspect in the Pelosi attack as politically motivated, but the evidence so far suggests that he suffered from a serious mental illness and a drug addiction and lacked any coherent political ideology. But let's go back to the San Francisco police and what they said in this press conference, which of course has omitted a lot of things and definitely will be remembered as a corrupt way of presenting a criminal attack, which in a way seems motivated by other circumstances, maybe sexual even. Maybe even sexual.
Oh.
We are here in America because this attack will be used as an excuse to attack the MAGA Republicans and bring further hate in an already divided America. Let's see what happened here in front of his house with this broken... Now, they have a $6 million house. How can you not have adequate security when you are the husband of the Speaker of the House? The third, they say that he doesn't have a private security detail. Well, that's not possible these days to not have a private security details if you are the husband of the third most important, because I mean, if the president dies, if Kamala dies, she's in charge. Nancy Pelosi is the third most important state, lawmaker in the country.
How's that possible?
And how is possible that he didn't have a gun in the house? Well, if he didn't have a gun, well, this is a reason why you should all have a gun in your house. So it's incredible how Joe Biden, of course, immediately started attacking and probably will use politically with the rest of them this event to somehow get Nancy Pelosi, back in her office. Because let's also remember, Nancy Pelosi is representing herself as the only choice for Speaker of the House, and as also head of the whole Democrat, if they of course happen to be a minority leader, but she still will be a leader. This is what the police said.
When the officers arrived on scene, they encountered an adult male and Mr. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup.
So apparently he is having some kind of
I have a question.
Yes.
Could the whole thing, like, since they lie so much, could the whole thing be staged? Even like the whole thing, just
just to get Nancy Pelosi reelected.
Even him going to the hospital. I mean, because they are such liars. They lie about everything. Why not? Why not lie about this? If they're able to make us look bad, then they're going to do it. Everything they it's obvious to everyone, and we're just sitting here like we're getting picked on way too much. Well, we're not doing anything.
And then this was San Francisco police confirming the name David the Pape, and of course without saying that he's a nudist, that he's a Castro supporter, that he's basically a communist, not a MAGA supporter.
Okay, good morning. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chief Bill Scott with the San Francisco Police Department. At approximately 2:27 this morning, San Francisco police officers were dispatched to the residence of Speaker Nancy Pelosi regarding an A-priority well-being check. When the officers arrived on scene, they encountered an adult male and Mr. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup, and rendered medical aid. The suspect has been identified as 42-year-old.
So why is the police not saying that in the dispatch this David the Pape was described as a friend? Why?
Northern 4 car, A priority 910, 2640 Broadway, cross of Scott and Normandy. I have a 14-hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused. Is a friend? RP sounded somewhat confused.
This wasn't said, I mean, of course, was written by the chief of police.
And Mr. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect...
Well, they were both holding a hammer. Now, this holding of the hammer, both holding... I mean, guys, it starts to sound a little bit like some kind of a lover's quarrel here, huh?
DePepe.
I really like the
Mr. Pelosi and Mr. DePepe were transported to a local hospital for treatment.
So why don't you say that initially in the dispatch he was described as a friend? Why don't you tell us why he was described as a friend? If there is an error in describing, if he was pressured to describe him as a friend, how did he call in the first descriptions of this event, suddenly he asked to go to the toilet, and he can go to the toilet with the phone in his pocket and make the call to the police.
This is an active investigation.
This is an active bullshit investigation, because first of all, here we would like to know.
And we can't even say what it is, because if we say what it is and we use the FF, then they're going to say that we're doing this, and it's all just part of their stupid plan, and we all see it.
No. You can't say anything, because if you say something, the FBI will put you on their watch list, and they will start treating you like a potential terrorist. Leaks are coming from the FBI that prove that basically, the agency is targeting misinformation under election crimes ahead of 2022 midterm elections. We are monitored. We are considered in our own country of America a potential threat. Document titled 2022 midterm elections, social media analysis cheat sheet details that what FBI agents should look out for leading up to November 8th. The document lists misinformation as potential election crime. So if they consider what we're doing today in the Leo Zagami show misinformation, we are participating in their eyes to a crime. This is the new Stasi secret police used for political reasons. This is not America any longer. The document also lists disinformation as a potential election crime, guys, describing it as false or inaccurate information intended to mislead others. And I repeat, we are not misleading anybody here. We are giving you accurate information from the sources, and we are in no way participating to a crime. We are simply participating to what is in America the First Amendment and the right to be able to talk our own minds. That's why I fled from Italy with my wife in 2019. I didn't come to live in some kind of Soviet Union. If I wanted to live in the Soviet Union, well, I could have gone into Russia, which is still, let's say, very controlled and restricted of what you can say or not say. But that's part of their tradition. But to come to the United States and then have these kind of things happening, this is a shame, guys. This is because, of course, I don't know, if they want the new civil war, it's not going to be the new Gettysburg. It's not going to be two armies fronting each other. It's going to be a civil war that is going to become very ugly. So the FBI reminded its agent that the First Amendment and Fourth Amendment exist under the things to consider. So you should consider, the FBI said, that we have a First Amendment. We have lots of Fourth Amendment. But there are things to consider. They're not essential. It says disinformation campaigns on social media are used to deliberately confuse, trick, or upset the public. We are not upsetting anybody, but this is the document. What are election crimes? First Amendment. Free speech is one of the rights protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. It should be. The First Amendment prohibits the investigation, intelligence activity based solely to monitor the First Amendment activities. We must be careful due to concerns that the government is limiting free speech. Well, you are. You are. They also talk about the Fourth Amendment that protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. But, as we know, the FBI has conducted many of those. So, do you think questions?
Well, it's, if we look at it like this and try not to get upset by this, by understanding that this is in God's plan and this is working itself out, and we're, because you told me some really bad stuff about the end times, so.
Well, it's not a cup of tea like some Christians that think there will be something raptured and brought away. No, guys, if you think that you're not going to be here fighting with the army of the Messiah in the end times, you are eluding yourself, and you should rethink your Christian ways. Okay?
That's why God says, put on your armor. Put on your armor of God.
Of course. course.
we're going to have to fight. It's not going to be like you say. It's not going to be some like new agey kind of nicey thing where you just sprinkle some fairy dust and everything's okay, and God's going to come down in a cloud and it's all going to be fine, because God doesn't work like that. He makes you work hard for what you know, everything that you have. God is going to make you work for it. And if you're not working for it, you're probably working for the devil, doing things for him, because he makes, if he does something for you, you're going to have to do something back for him, because you know it's a trade there, and it's going to have to be something really bad. So you just align yourself with God. And the devil lies. He pretends he's God. If you're hearing voices in your heads saying that they're God, God doesn't do that. God doesn't do that.
Now, the Leo Zagami show, of course, is sponsored by you. We have thanked today's sponsors, and we would like to thank them again. They have been kind enough to make this show possible for all of us. Is GoFundMe, one of the ways you can use. It's on the screen now. Then we have Fundly. We have also cashapp if you are in the United States or Great Britain. These are the free means which you can use to become sponsors. Some people decide, though, to not have their name listed amongst the sponsors. But this week we have Lisa. Yes, Lisa, amongst the sponsors. Yeah.
Lisa and Ronaldo. And
then we have we have a few people. We have a few people that have kindly donated and made possible today's show. We want to thank all of them. And now let's move forward with more news, because of course we are witnessing Russia. This week, showing muscles with their nuclear exercises, and their nuclear exercises were particularly scary, especially because the West is not taking Putin really very seriously. And this morning, as I just showed you at the beginning of the show, their Ministry of Defense and their own army forces spokesperson has said very clearly that they believe the United Kingdom is behind the sabotage of Nord Stream 1 and 2. Now, when that kind of news is given, they must have some kind of, evidence. Otherwise, they will not go on and say something like that. This is maybe the most important news of the day, so I would like to play it again for you.
Сегодня в 4:20 утра киевским режимом.
Of course, as you don't understand Russian, we should take off the on the screen so we can, and then we should also take some trolls off our chat, because we are invaded by some trollish. This is very important information, guys, because this is basically the beginning of the Third World War, and it will be remembered in years to come as probably the most important information that was given before it all turns very ugly.
Сегодня в 4:20 утра киевским режимом проведена террористическая атака на корабли Черноморского флота и гражданские суда, находившиеся на внешнем и внутреннем рейдах пункта базирования Севастополь.
Okay, so it was covering, so people couldn't see the translation.
Сегодня в 4:20 утра киевским режимом проведена террористическая атака на корабли Черноморского флота и гражданские суда, находившиеся на внешнем и внутреннем рейдах пункта базирования Севастополь. В атаке были задействованы 9 беспилотных летательных аппаратов и 7 автономных морских беспилотных аппаратов. В результате принятых оперативных мер силами кораблей Черноморского флота все воздушные цели были уничтожены. В ходе отражения террористической атаки на внешнем рейде Севастополя применением корабельного оружия и морской авиации Черноморского флота уничтожено 4 морских беспилотных аппаратов. Еще 3 аппарата уничтожены на внутреннем рейде. Незначительное повреждение получили морской тральщик Иван Голубец, а также боносетевое заграждение в бухте Южная. Следует подчеркнуть, что подвергшиеся террористической атаке корабли Черноморского флота задействованы в обеспечении безопасности зернового коридора в рамках международной инициативы.
And now the most important part comes in, because now there is suddenly this accusation against Great Britain, which is part of NATO.
По вывозу сельскохозяйственной продукции из украинских портов. Подготовка данного террористического акта и обучение военнослужащих украинского 73-го специального центра морских операций осуществлялись под руководством находившейся в городе Очаков Николаевской области Украины британских специалистов. По имеющейся информации, представители данного подразделения ВМС Великобритании принимали участие в планировании, обеспечении и реализации террористического акта в Балтийском море 26 сентября сего года по подрыву газопроводов «Северный поток-1» и «Северный поток-2».
So, this is not Russia accusing Ukraine any longer of an act of war, like, for example, when they blow up the bridge there, with the bridge towards Crimea. This is an accusation, very specific accusation, also on who carried the special forces belonging to the Royal Navy carried this planned attack on Nord Stream 1 and 2. Like I said, thank you, Lisa. Sorry if there was some kind of troll we saw that we had to block here that claimed it was some kind of donor. I don't know. There's people that can claim whatever they want, but if they come in the chat without showing their name and surname, they are simply gonna be blocked if they start making claims that are not verified. So we have verified that this guy was probably a troll, and we removed him accordingly. We don't have much patience for trolls here in the chat. They happen to appear from time to time, but that's normal. Like in every household these days, you have trolls. Now, you were watching a documentary on trolls the other day. I saw you. You learn anything interesting about it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm interested in these things. I'm not sure why, but I watch these weird things. And I was watching this thing about internet trolls, and maybe because, I've been attacked, and, I wanted to just hear some stories about other people that have gone through what I've gone through, because I've been trolled terribly. Not anymore, thankfully, right now, but in the past I've been trolled, and these people are just almost subhuman in the way they act. They hide behind a computer and they attack people, and they get actually a pleasure out of hurting other people. Any way that some people just do this as a thing that they do for entertainment. Like they'll find people that have died, like their families that post like memorials on Facebook, and they will go under those memorials and troll under them and write comments against the person that just died, because they know that those people are suffering. And so when you suffer,
that's
very, very evil.
With
it's
no
deliberate
reason.
evil. And I'm studying these evil people, because know thy enemy. And so I sit there and I study them. And so it's just a really intense evil in these type of people that hide behind the internet. That was like, woo.
Well, no, you can.
No, but you shouldn't. People who hide behind false names are cowards. Show yourself. If you're going to hide, and then, if you're going to be a troll and get pleasure out of hurting people, it's eventually going to come back to you, and you're going to be punished. You will be punished. So that's the way it goes. I'm sorry for you. I hope you find a new path. Find God. Go out in the sun. Smile a little. That's where God lives, not on the computer in your dark house with a bottle of alcohol.
Unfortunately, a lot of people during the pandemic resorted to that and kind of got dragged into the demonic side of themselves, no?
Yeah, the pandemic was just a time when some people, became very depressed. And right now is not a great time for people. It's really hard for people to find, something bright to look at when, they can't pay their bills and they can't heat their house. And at
the same time, we are sending all our money to Zelensky, who is basically a crook, And there has been this week even 30 politicians from the Democratic Party who have gone to their leaders asking to stop this madness and engage in peace talks. This is something a bit bipartisan. There is also people in the Republican Party that think we shouldn't be sending more weapons to Ukraine, though there is still a bunch of warmongers, and often, unfortunately, they seem to be reporting their propaganda from channels like Fox News, which is disappointing. Yeah. But not everybody. I mean, there is then people like Tucker Carlson or others who. Now, Ilhan Omar is a member of that group of demented politicians that are, of course, extremely progressive, but they are expected to be anti-war, because now there is some kind of friction now, even within the Democratic Party, those who want to at least force Biden towards engaging in a peace process. Now, these people, these anti-war protesters, challenge Ilhan Omar during one of her talks, but she is, of course, completely, she's another warmonger. She is, of course, a tool of this system, this very sick system that is dragging us towards a thermonuclear warfare.
You are supposed to be a progressive Democrat, anti-war. Anti-war. 80 billion to Ukraine is not anti-war.
We are helping Ukraine defend themselves.
Ukraine is killing its own citizens.
Helping people
in the Donbass.
War. We are helping little children like me that have been held. So unless you have not been paying attention to what is happening, there are millions of Ukrainians that have been displaced. There are piles of bodies that are being found in mass graves. There are little children whose lives are being lost.
By Zelensky! By Zelensky in the Donbass.
But unless you are someone like me that has been that child, you do not get to tell me what my votes mean and how I get to vote in supporting people who desperately need support.
The libtards applauded in the end because she came, of course, she wasn't born here in the United States. She came from a war-torn zone in Africa. She should have probably stayed there. She brought with her the worst of the worst. I mean, she married her own brother. She got away with it. She did, she is basically a very despicable person. And of course, like every despicable, probably if they asked the same question to AOC, she would have answered in the same way. These people want to be leftist, but the left, until a few years ago, were basically for peace. They were pushing peace. Now they're warmongers. Yeah, she came from Somalia. I know very well Somalia because, like Ethiopia, it was part of the Italian colonies back in the days when Italy had some kind of sovereignty and was also able to colonize and bring roads and civilization to these countries. Let's not forget, apart from, of course, war is always war, and there was some terrible things done also maybe by the Italians against the Ethiopians in particular. But going back to what we are discussing now, this week was also the week in which, of course, we celebrate 100 years from that moment in history that was rather unique, when on between the 27th and 28th of October of the year 1922, my grandfather was amongst these people, 19,000 people only, but ready to die for a cause. Of course, there was some kind of staging behind the scenes, but they were capable of bringing this way Mussolini to power for 20 years. It was called the March on Rome. we have some images here to show you of this event that happened 100 years ago. These days, instead, what happened in Rome was they put a few posters around, and everybody was saying, I mean, there is this thing, now you have a government with somebody who is so far from what the fascism used to be. Yes, they might have engaged in some kind of right-wing politics, which to a certain extent derives from fascism. But Giorgia Meloni, trust me, guys, is not a fascist, but she's not even somebody that we can trust with being completely honest about fighting the system, as she's too close to the Aspen Institute, too close to the Vatican, like most Italians are, unfortunately, when they are into politics. Those days, instead, the Vatican wasn't in charge, and after a meeting that was conducted in Naples, they eventually arrived in Rome. And at that point, they, of course, fought because there was a communist threat. So, in a way, they were helped also by foreign countries, including America. I mean, we are talking here about a communist threat that was already bringing Russia to their knees and into the reality that for many decades characterized Russia, the Soviet Union. The communist threat was very big in Italy at that time, and it needed to be stopped, just like in Germany. In Germany, unfortunately, it then gave rise to Nazism, because then Adolf Hitler was sponsored by people like the grandfather of George W. Bush, Prescott Bush, who became one of the main sponsors of early Nazism. We don't really know if there was so much of an economic involvement, but there was always these documents that were never found that Mussolini apparently always carried with him that proved some kind of connection with the forces that then became his antagonist, because then he unfortunately allied with Germany and unfortunately participated to those race laws that really were terrible and brought us the Holocaust. But in this moment, Italy, in this rare moment, Italy was actually regaining their sovereignty. So this week, instead, Italy has once again lost their sovereignty, because even with Giorgia Meloni, now the first thing she does, she goes to Brussels, she bows down to these technocrats, non-elected technocrats. She bows down to people who are not even elected in Brussels, demonstrating that, yes, in part, Mussolini was a British agent. In fact, there was a very strong fascist party in Great Britain at the time. But in the end, he failed. He failed everything when he really allied himself with Adolf Hitler, and also when he signed the Patti Lateranensi in 1920. The Patti Lateranensi that were signed in the 1920s by Benito Mussolini and the Vatican was the recognition for the first time that the Vatican was a state. Without Mussolini, there would not have been those Lateran pacts. So that also is something that went against his own tradition, because he was supposed to present himself as a pagan, going back to the ancient roots of paganism, pagan Rome. But in reality, then he became another tool of the Jesuits that then conducted in 1924, behind the scenes, thanks to Mussolini, a persecution also of any opposers or any people opposing. And then there is also the secrets behind the rise of fascism that have to do with the famous image of Moloch that we saw for a period brought in the fall of 2019. That was Gabriele D'Annunzio, who was a 33rd degree Freemason who participated with fascists to the rise of fascism. And there was definitely a Masonic element in all this. So we, of course, just wanted to discuss this briefly. We don't want to give you a history lesson today, but it was amongst because it was all over the news this week. It was all over the news, and they were kind of saying, fascism is still threatening Italy. What fascism is still threatening Italy is a country of idiots, of communists, of people who are brainwashed, who will take anything. It's a country that, like the rest of Europe, is now heading towards bankruptcy, like the rest of Europe, and war, because Europe is doomed in this sense. But we are, like this week, Tucker Carlson said on his show, also doomed on this side of the world, because we are running out of diesel. And of course, diesel,
that's scary.
That is pretty scary. Tucker Carlson a couple of days ago said there is only 25 days left and we are running out of diesel. Diesel is still used for all the trucks,
for everything,
and we are really maybe.
Why can't they just use the, to use our own?
Well,
sources?
But when you have Kamala Harris talking about how bad is a diesel bus to go to school, what do you expect? Let's see Kamala Harris.
So here's the thing. Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right? Just, there's something about and most of us, many of us went to school on the yellow school bus, right? And it's part of our experience growing up. It's part of, a nostalgia and a memory of the excitement and joy of going to school, to be with your favorite teacher, to be with your best friends, and to learn. The school bus takes us there. And in America today, 25 million children a day go to school on the yellow school bus. 25 million children a day. And today, 95% of our school buses are fueled with diesel fuel.
That is the big problems these people have. Huh? These people don't have a sense of reality. People can't pay the bills. They can't, basically, when they go to the gas pump, it's really difficult, especially if you live in California, where the prices are still around $6 a gallon. Whatever they say, it never changes in California. They can put down the rest of the states. The United States can go down the price here. Unfortunately, we have a bunch of assholes, including people very close to Kamala Harris. Let's not forget, she comes from this state. The main evil of the world comes from this state. That's why we are here, try to heal these states and try to see what's going to happen in the end times, because God has a lot of work to do here, and it's not going to be a pleasant kind of job, but somebody needs to do it. People like this, they don't deserve to be in the kingdom of God.
Which contributes to very serious conditions that are about health and about the ability to learn.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.
Somebody said fascism, communism. Well, all these ideologies from the past are kind of antagonizing, if you think about it, the essence of what we are trying to bring here, which is monarchy. Because when you have the kingdom of God, you have monarchy. When you are accepting the Messiah by the Jewish, the Christian or the Islamic perspective, you're accepting a monarchy. And that's why in my book, which I invite you to buy if you haven't done it already, volume 7 of my confessions, there's a whole chapter at the end of the book dedicated to how the Illuminati have tried in every way possible to destroy the leading monarchies, including Russia, so they could push socialism and communism and arrive to where we are now. The only republic worth living in is this republic on which we stand, at least for the moment. But like I remind our viewers and also my readers, it's a republic that will end with the return of Jesus. At the moment, America has a constitution which is almost like a Bible. That constitution will no longer be able to function when you have Jesus in front of you. That will be teared away because you will have, of course, the truth in front of you. There is no need. There is the Bible eventually, the Bible that moved those founders, that also moved those first people who came here that we are about to celebrate during Thanksgiving. So here we are with the Leo Zagami show, trying to bring you, of course, a weekly rundown of the various events. We are doing it, of course, with your help. And for that reason, we usually invite you to donate through GoFundMe, Fundly, and Cash App if you are in the United States or Great Britain. But of course, if you are not, you can donate through Fundly and Cash and GoFundMe. They work worldwide. And we also said that it works GoFundMe with PayPal, which is a great thing. So the news, we have a lot more news to serve to our viewers before, of course, opening the phone lines. This is what is happening when the Democrats show their insanity. Democrat Warnock, America needs to repent for its worship of whiteness. This is the most demented thing I saw this week. This is really demented.
No matter what happens next month, more than a third of the nation that would go along with this is reason to be afraid. America needs to repent for its worship of whiteness on full display. America needs.
I'm not repenting for being white. I'm not repenting. I really think it's despicable that here in California, for example, they are starting to give money to black people simply because they're white, descendant of slaves. We are all descendants of slaves at one point or the other of history. So what? Should we ask, I don't know, Egypt to give back money to the Jews because they were slaves in ancient Egypt? I mean, this is demented. Should we ask money should we claim money for the descendants of slaves in ancient Rome? Because slaves in ancient Rome were a common occurrence in every patrician household. When I saw this guy talking, this candidate, who is not, fortunately, in California, but is in Georgia, where, of course, the polls are kind of not good for this guy.
He's a shitty character anyway.
Now, there is, of course, the Georgia Senate race is still a very tight one. The poll shows that the Democrats are going down the hill. But of course they're going down the hill. This guy's an hypocrite. The other guy, of course, might have done something wrong with his abortion, whatever. But this guy is a minister who preaches for the support of abortion. That's a Satanist. You can't be a minister of Christ and support abortion. Remember that. So let's listen again what he says about whiteness. I don't believe this is the United States of America. And I write about this in Volume 8 of my Confessions, because Volume 8 of my Confessions, because we talk about Hollywood, we talk about the music industry, talks also about this trend, about black supremacy all over the place. These are black supremacists, and they're just as worse as white supremacists. And this was said by Martin Luther King and was also said by Malcolm X.
No matter what happens next month, more than a third of the nation that would go along with this is reason to be afraid. America needs to repent for its worship of whiteness on full display. America needs to repent for its worship of whiteness on full display.
It's just sick.
They're really showing themselves to do really well. Come on, man.
So this is, of course, the guy who is planting in the U.S. Senate race in Georgia, the candidate that I hope that with some help from God we can get out of the way, because actually for Senate it's probably actually working a much better option anyway, regardless of his past. Regardless of, he might have done a mistake in his past, but this guy does a mistake every day, and his wife wants
Still mistakes in his present.
yeah, I mean, it's just repent. I don't repent. I'm proud of my whiteness. I'm not a white supremacist, but I'm proud of my whiteness. I'm proud of my heritage. Yes, a black man can be racist. Absolutely. And most of them these days, unfortunately, are. And in Volume 8 of my confessions, I explain how this is happening and how we are condoning it. Black people are connected to black supremacist movement that is growing in front of our eyes, and that nobody is stopping. The 5%ers, for example. People, you know, when
But they're just using the black people, don't you think?
well,
like,
I mean,
like, isn't there something behind
I don't care if
this?
they're using. If the problem is here, now we're gonna see in these elections on the 8th of November, is the black folk able to realize they're being used in their plantation ghettos, or are they able to finally realize that the founders of the KKK are the Democrats?
I think some of them I think a lot of people.
Connie West is doing like same mistake, and it's following simply a trend that already Jay-Z is following. Beyonce, these people.
I think that Kanye. I think that he's suffering. I can see that he's not well. I think he hears voices in his head, and he thinks that it's God. It's not God. It's not. Those demons, they make themselves just like God. They'll trick you, and then they'll make you do things to just destroy yourself. And you can see that you're not doing good. You're not doing.
Somebody said that we are sounding distorted again. Sound go bad. Okay, we will re-emerge and re-emerge. Yes. Have you seen Vladimir Putin? Let's go and see what Vladimir Putin, who has criticized the West for this sudden decline, which of course is made of cancel culture, woke culture. Everything that is wrong is happening in this country because, most of all, not of, you know, of course, we can blame Chinese, we can blame the Russians, we can blame the UFOs, we can blame anybody, we can blame some external force, but we have to blame each other for what is happening here in America. Because when MSNBC, which is really the propaganda tool of Satan these days, completely racist, they are like they are denouncing white people like the devil incarnate, MSNBC. And then they try to push the January 6th scam on a bunch of people who wouldn't take it. Obviously, let's see what happened.
Mastriano was at the insurrection, and he was photographed breaching one of the restricted areas. Is that okay?
Which area? Because I saw a video where Capitol officers were taking away barriers and unlocking doors for people. So, I mean,
they opened the gates.
So it shouldn't be disqualifying for an elected official if they participate in January 6th?
He didn't strike anybody. He didn't hurt anybody.
And the only one that died was a protester there, not a Capitol police
An unarmed
officer.
female veteran.
That's the only one that died.
That's the only one who died.
A police officer did die.
No, it was a stroke.
That's
not on site.
Caused by that. That's because
Right.
he shouldn't have been a police officer. It was one woman.
So what do you make the
So basically, it was like a complete mess. It was an interesting moment. I mean, on MSNBC, also a rare moment. How is the sound, guys? Can you still? It's good. The sound is good again. So thank you for confirming that. And let's see Biden's midterm plausible vulnerability, basically, because I mean, we know that the country is in a very bad condition. The only one who says it's not is Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And he continues to say it over and over again. So this collage, this compilation of his recent statements make us really understand that the guy is lying continuously in our faces, is continuing to do it simply because the media, of course, permitted, and nobody has a critical sense in front of the President of the United States. They should. But going back to, before I show you this compilation, however you want to call it, of the President, let's go to that hot mic moment in which basically they kind of confirm that they are not going really well in Georgia, because that's really the state that they are talking about. It's like they need to repent from their dementia if they want to get voted in these midterms elections, and I don't think they will ever do that, because what they're doing is over and over again, clearly not in line with what people want. People don't want this BS. And when Joe Biden is caught saying this BS, he kind of like, he gets almost even more insane. But I mean, the guy, it's completely loopy most of the time. He gets mad, he gets angry like an old folk. And all this, of course, it's... the most common price of gas in America is $3.39, down from when he took office was the biggest lie I could say this week. I mean, check this out. I mean, how can you lie like this?
The most common price of gas in America is $3.39, down from over $5 when I took office.
Wow. What?
The most common price of gas in America is $3.39. Down from over $5 when I took office.
That's complete BS.
Yeah.
Even here in Palm Springs, where now it's $6 a gallon, following the traditional Californian standard, it was $2 when I arrived here. $2.
Wow, that's why we went to
$2.
Austin.
We went to Austin. We went all over the
place.
We enjoyed it. It was very pleasant. We had a great time. But it was happening
because Donald Trump was president.
Because Donald Trump was president, not because. And so obviously they are in danger. They are in danger of losing everything, and they were caught in this hot mic moment with Schumer telling Biden they were in trouble this week. That was one of the events of this week.
I like yours better.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that? There you go. He is. That scene. We're in danger of that scene. It's a minute back. We're in close. Let's see. Well, it looks like the debate didn't hurt us as much in Pennsylvania as it today, so that's good. And
They're talking about also the seat Fetterman's. Fetterman against Mehmet Oz. He says actually that was a good one. I mean, he has a positive outlook about that.
Basically, we're picking up steam on that. Yeah.
picking up steam in Nevada. Whoever votes these fools will be cursed forever in the kingdom of God. Whoever aligns with these fools these days is aligning with Satan. That's it. The Democratic Party should rename itself the Party of the Devil. The initials stay the same, PD. No? Party of the Devil, Party Devil. That's it. They are Satan's party. The state where we're going down the hill is in Georgia. The state, of course, with that guy who is talking about white supremacists. I mean, if you're talking about white supremacists like that, no, white, sorry, it wasn't even white supremacy. It wasn't white supremacy. He said, what? That we have to repent about our whiteness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to repent about my whiteness.
But they will go. By the way, tomorrow, yeah. But our vote, our early turnout in Georgia, huge.
Wow, really. Okay, so what is Joe Biden proposing to the media this week, as he says that, of course, he brought down the price of gasoline, which is not true. Mm-hmm. And he's saving basically our economy with his BS. Let's see how he does it.
I want to turn to next month's election. You've referred to the midterm election as a choice rather than a referendum.
That's right.
Given record inflation, why should voters choose Democrats?
Because it's not record inflation anymore. I'm bringing it down. Look what we inherited. And it's still in a place where it's leveling out in a rational means. The other thing is that I think you're going to see that people are looking to say, wow, the price, not only gas is down, but the price of I'm not getting charged for overdrafting my checks. And by the way, the food prices, the main driver of food prices is not the price of beef and eggs, et cetera, although they're up. It's packaged goods. Packaged goods. You're going to see people not buying Kellogg's Raisin Bran, which you're going to see them buy another Raisin Bran, which is going to be $1 cheaper. I mean, so what's happening is there is real movement. They're really showing themselves to do really well.
They are buying other kinds of Raisin Bran. They're not buying Kellogg's. That's $1 cheaper. This is what basically he's proposing. I mean, it's just insane, man. Just insane. Just insane. And it gets worse when he gets called out to Let's Go Brandon during one of his speeches. Somebody, of course, brought up Let's Go Brandon. This is how he reacted. He starts grinning and saying things.
You probably can't see it.
And ladies and gentlemen, he shows his socks.
But I got it.
We
got a good year going. The Phillies and the Eagles.
Phillies, yeah. Really. That's the P on his thing.
I thought it was like pee-pee. Or poo. As he's always a little bit incontinent and a little bit shitty in his thoughts.
Can we take callers?
Of course, we have at least 15 minutes for taking your calls if you wish to call us and participate to our show live. This is the Leo Zagami Show with Leo and Christy Zagami. We are bringing you a rundown of the weekly news. We like also to give our personal support to the local Republican candidate here, Ken Calvert, because they said so many bad things about him.
Guy is going against literally Satan.
Satan. I mean, being a Republican, I mean, the Republican Party had to be dismantled in Palm Springs in 2017 because basically there was none left. This is a seat in the hands of the Satan. I mean, I live amongst Satanists. And that's why God brought me here, because there will be a time in which these people will have to repent. They will have to repent, and they will have to repent because otherwise they will face death and destruction on a massive scale. I repeat, the end times, it's not a cup of tea. It's not a picnic for New Agers. Oh, I've got awareness. Oh, Jesus is coming through the clouds. This BS needs to stop. Okay? Jesus is already here. He's not coming through the clouds. And when the time comes, he will reveal himself in a way that will be unprecedented. That's what I think. Then, of course, each one can have their own idea. But what do you think, Christy?
Well, I know that God always says, don't tell me, you don't tell me who you are. Let me, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, don't tell me I'm God. Like if somebody comes and says that, then.
Okay.
I'm getting it confused.
Yes, don't worry. I understand what you mean. The concept is this. I mean, in the end, is basically not the false prophet who announces himself that we have to believe in, because those who announce themselves to be the Messiah, to be Jesus, all that, well, those people are usually false prophets. And of course, the New Testament warns us against the false prophets.
Yeah. That's
So
what I was trying
yes,
to say.
that is basically, and you said it in your own way, but
not very well.
So we need to, of course, invite people to call us. And to call us, we have to find the phone number. Do you remember the phone number, Casey?
970-577-6369. Is that it?
Oh, I don't know if you're right, Christy.
970.
Trying to find it
Well, you
here
can
somewhere.
dial somebody else.
No. The number is 970-577-6369.
That's what I said.
Did you say that?
You can rewind it and check it out.
Ooh, rewind and check it out. That's great, guys. We put it here on the screen, so you can call us in, and the phone lines are open right now. So we can enjoy.
No, 5 minutes.
No, we will extend, of course, to for an extra 10 or 15 minutes as we started late. So you are welcome to call us. The phone number is 970-577-6369 if you call from the United States. If you call from outside the United States, please add +1. What about somebody says, what about the Jewish Messiah that the rabbi are talking about? Yes, of course. That is the real Jesus. Jesus, 2,000 years ago, had an internal squabble within the Jewish world. When he comes back, he's going to deal directly with the Jewish world regarding his own squabble with the Jewish world. That is a personal matter between him and the rabbis that, of course, know very well that at that point he has demonstrated, first of all, that he was right the first time. Second of all, that he's capable to come back when he wants, and that he's capable to define and outline a much brighter future for us as we all will be together with this figure that will not be a divisive figure at all, but will neither be an antichrist, a fake false prophet style figure that will come back with some kind of theosophical message. The unifications of religion, the way the Vatican is doing, is not the way that Jesus will be doing, because that is the way of the Antichrist. We know that the Vatican is gathering everybody under one world religion, which wants to ultimately destroy God and wants to put us under the control of cyber Satan. The Vatican has made it very clear during this pandemic that they prefer science to God. And that is what is happening here. So, no?
Yeah.
I think, but then we will see. I mean, we have to, of course, have, I believe in God very strong, and we have to believe that this is the moment in which we can finally turn things to our advantage. And so the Jewish community in particular has a lot of problems because they have their own heresy. The Sabbatean Frankists are the heretical movement that Connie West should be basically fighting. Instead, Connie West is fighting against the whole Jewish race, not really understanding how these things work. And I'm really sorry.
Read your book.
And I'm really sorry to I see that somebody was trying to call, but unfortunately I didn't turn off here the phone, so it creates a problem with this guy.
Try again.
Try again. We just saw your call now, and you can try again. We have some technical problem, but you can call us again. Our phone number is +1 970 577 6369. We will be around for another 10 minutes at least. Sorry, somebody asked the translation. No, we don't give translations here. We will have the Italian show in 1 hour.
Not me.
Not you, not you. You don't usually join the Italian show, if not at the end.
Italian politics.
Italian politics is a little bit of a harsh kind of scenario.
I mean, you yell
Yell a lot. The Italians need to be yelled at, especially now that they have demonstrated once again that they are bowing down to the New World Order, no questions asked, continue to send weapons. Imagine this: the Italians are sending weapons, and it's all done top secret without officially declaring what weapons they're selling. If they're selling their own weapons,
God's watching you.
I mean, there's a lot of wrong things that are happening at the moment in Europe, but I'm sorry to say that if now the Russians start to accuse directly Great Britain, Europe is on a path to annihilation. I don't know. It's going to become some kind of nuclear wasteland, guys, soon. I'm afraid to say that. You can purchase in the meantime Volume 7 of my confession, where all of this was already depicted and outlined, including what's going to happen soon with Taiwan. We had a confirmation of that with the Chinese Communist Party conference. Volume 6, where I also describe the link between technology, cyber Satan, exorcism, how Satan enters in a life also through technology, how the Illuminati, and how the first Black Mass was carried out in France by an Italian aristocrat, royal, from the Medici family. Volume 4, if you want to learn more about... Oh, we have a phone call.
Oh, they tried again.
Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Leo and Christy. It's me, Shelly from Wisconsin.
Hi, Shelly.
Hi, Shelly. So what do you think about today's show and what is your question for us?
I think the show was wonderful, and I just saw you guys, or you, Leo, talking about Volume 6, which I have read of your book. And I'm just wondering if you can just give us a little more insight on the whole cyber Satan and the
I think that
transhumanist, transgender movement.
Sure.
If you could just talk on that.
Well, I mean, I think that first of all, cyber Satan is described by me in this book, but it's further outlined in this other book, Volume 7, where I actually give an even further analysis of what is happening also in relation to this great reset. But thank you so much for your question. We can say that basically transhumanism and the question that was asked by this viewer is really something that will probably take a whole show.
Maybe you can do a show.
Yes, well, maybe, because I mean, we are talking here about a gradual move, a gradual push towards transhumanism. People, for example, when it comes to Elon Musk, they see him as a positive force at the moment because, of course, he has taken Twitter off the hands of the leftists. But is he? People don't know here in this country that one of the investors that has helped Elon Musk purchase together, because he has put together a bunch of people, is the assurance company called Unipol from Italy. Now, everybody in Italy, even the children, know that Unipol is a communist assurance company. So what is a communist assurance company investing money with Elon Musk to retrieve Twitter from the hands of the leftists?
Yeah,
it doesn't really make sense.
Everything's a lie. Lie.
Elon Musk is the one who has sacrificed the life of many monkeys, macaque, I don't know the name of the actual species, but for his experimentation on the computer-brain interface, another diabolic creation that will put us closer to transhumanism. Because transhumanism is the integration of man with machine. And the moment in which artificial intelligence is finally in control of the system, that's what they want to do. Of course, it's very clear that then the way to have complete control of humanity is through a gradual integration of this humanity with the machine.
No way.
So, like somebody is cleverly outlining here in the chat, transgender, transhumanist, cyber transgenderism, transforming your body, but also that trend, which I describe in Volume 8. You see, people are asking, when is Volume 8 coming out? Now, we are very close to bringing out Volume 8. Volume 8 is going to probably come out in the middle of November, okay? We are basically only weeks away. Christy is working on the last chapter.
I'm going to work really hard.
I'm working also. We are working very hard because for the first time, this book is published in 2 languages contemporary. I mean, it's going to be probably brought out 1 week before in one language rather than, it's going to maybe just a few days different. But it's basically in contemporary, we are bringing out this book in both English and Italian, which is a very incredible kind of work, not for a novel, but for an essay with over 1,000 footnotes and very detailed. People say, why are you so obsessed with the footnotes? Well, all the best essays have to be very much in line with every footnote because they are detailing subjects that are very delicate. And of course, to avoid having any legal issues, you have to be very much down to the point, especially if you are exposing for the first time Hollywood, like nobody has done before. Because people can talk a lot in many books about the symbolism of this, the symbolism of that, or if this guy is doing this or that in Hollywood. But here we are exposing Hollywood as the creation of Satan to aid the Antichrist in a way that has never been exposed before, with evidence from the military-industrial complex to the satanic sects, to the Illuminati, that are controlled, that control the satanic sects, to the Freemasons. All this is...
And the weapons that they're using against us.
The weapons and the manipulation games they play with us in the cinematic world, in the sound world. All this in a book that will be basically of 560 pages. I mean, I have volume 3. I had it before that. I want to show maybe how big it's. If you if you pick up Italian volume 3, I want to show to our viewers how big is this book and how.
Volume 3.
Yes. This is this is not the book. This is volume 3, the Italian edition of volume 3, and as you can see, is a very thick book. It's a book of 570 pages, more or less. And Rambo, what's up?
Huh? He's freezing.
It's freezing because
I'll just make him dance.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can turn off the conditioning a little bit. So he kind of like, okay. Well, so the book is coming together. Is a book that, of course, I'm very proud of, because I try to make every book I do better than the one that preceded it. It's been not easy to put together a book into languages with different set of rules regarding citations, regarding the wording of everything. So it's not been an easy thing. But in the end, we can say that we are almost there.
Yep, we're almost there.
We're almost there. And this book is, for me, a joy and pride, because it's going to finally show you also another side of me, which is to do with, my involvement with the music business. I studied acting with my grandmother, who was a great profound source of inspiration for this book, for a number of reasons that you will learn reading this book. So it's a book incredible also regarding all the connections, the World Economic Forum, for example, the Great Reset in Hollywood, but also a book that you can really read without reading the other books.
It stands on its own.
It stands on its own, really. Of course, we encourage people to also read the other books, but if that doesn't happen. So regarding transhumanism and the last this question that was given, I think that we will have to eventually give you a much wider answer with a show dedicated to this subject. But also people have asked me, when are you going to do more shows about the occult? Now, I will basically, when the book comes out, start a whole new show that is going to bring you back into these subjects also, because we will be discussing the book, which is also has a lot of esoteric elements, because of course Hollywood is full of them, and then we will take it from there in getting back to those occult aspects that a lot of people want to know more about, the Illuminati, Freemasonry, and the various sects that are part of the Illuminati network. Thank you so much for following us today. Rambo is there, is under the blanket.
Coming on?
Yes, the music is coming on. Rambo is ready, and I think that we can all be ready for our music. Somebody was calling.
We're doing the dance. We're doing the dance.
Somebody called us, but it was too late, you guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Rambo, you seem like you're freezing today, eh? He is. Okay. I hope to see you next week on Saturday. And of course, from the middle of November onwards, we should be also activating more shows. Is that a good way of saying it? No.
Yes. Activate more shows.
Reactivating ourselves with more shows.
Okay.
Is that a good way of saying it?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. In any case, we will see you next week on Saturday at 10 a.m. PSD, Leo Zagami and Christy Zagami, for the Leo Zagami show and a weekly rundown of all the events that have characterized the week. Hope you enjoy the weekend and the rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Okay, I gotta put him down. He's loud. He's loud.
The books. And don't forget, for those who want to know more about Christy, you have Confessions of an Illuminati Princess, Volume 1 and 2.
Hi, everyone.
She's the real Illuminati Princess. A long time before Rihanna, eh? Is that the case?
Well, yeah, I made my YouTube before she made her Illuminati Princess.
Take care. God bless you all. From Palm Springs, California, this was the Leo Zagami Show.